Hey everybody, and welcome back to Techstrong Unplugged. I'm your host, Natan Solomon, and this is episode 21 of our series. In this episode, we're taking you to ViewConf 2024. At ViewConf, our co-host Cassandra Chin met up with Jordan Powell, and they discussed the importance of building meaningful technology. Jordan is a developer experience engineer at Cypress.io, and he highlights the importance of solving complex problems and the joys of continuous learning. Without further ado, let's head over to ViewConf 2024.
Welcome back to Techstrong Unplugged. I'm your host, Cassandra Chin, and today we have Jordan Powell.
How's it going, Cassandra?
Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jordan Powell. I am a developer experience engineer at Cypress.io, and we have built the open source testing framework called Cypress. So I've been with Cypress for about 3 years now. So super excited to be speaking with you and here at ViewConf.
How did you get started into technology?
It's a great question. So when I was in high school, my family owns a sign company. And so this was 20-some years ago. And back then, I'm from a rural area and a small community. And people would come in and they would say, hey, I need a new sign. They're starting a business or something like that. And my dad, we would get the information. What's your phone number? What services do you offer? What's your logo? And then oftentimes we would ask, do you have a website? And sometimes I started to notice a pattern where people would say, I don't have a website, but I need one. And so I started, this light bulb went off and I was like, I could learn how to build websites. And it kind of seemed something cool and fun at the time. And so I was like, okay, so I'm going to learn it. So I just went on YouTube and just started slowly learning every single day. And then when people came in, I would, first I had started with the sign company, our family website. I built one for that. And then when people would come in and we would ask the question, hey, do you need a website? Or what is your website? They'd say, I don't have one. Well, we'd say, my dad would say, well, my son could build it for you. And so I would do it for a few $100 or something to help me pay for college. And then I slowly just began to develop the skill and just really fell in love with the challenges of software and just how fun it really can be. And from there, started doing websites for other companies and other agencies, and then started to move into more enterprise software at a couple local companies, and then doing consulting, and then now working at Cypress. So,
do you still enjoy your work a lot?
Oh yeah, very much so. I think that this is by far the funnest job I've ever had. I think that several aspects is one, helping build a tool and being a part of a team that builds a tool that is used by millions of people all over the world is really gratifying and satisfying, knowing that the work you do is being used by other people. And that's really cool feeling, as well as I work with really great people and they're fun to be around and they're very, very intelligent and smart. So it always strives for me to be better, which I think is really important. And just in general, I think that the challenges around testing and just in general, the tech space are very fun challenges that it's not for everyone, and there are frustrating times, but I think that for the most part, it is really fun. I really enjoy it.
What is your typical day like in your work?
And my work? That's a good question. So first, I got to go work out. I have to work out. That's a good place to start, so my mind is clear. But then when I start my job, normally I'll catch up from the day. I'll make sure I've caught up on emails, Slack messages, things like that. And then typically I have a set of projects that I'm working on, or maybe a ticket or something that I'm trying to complete, and I'll just work through that. I usually have a few meetings throughout the day, but for the most part, I work remotely. So I work with people all over the world. And so other than attending meetings, my day is very loose and pretty flexible, which I really enjoy as well. So that way, oftentimes I'll go work at a coffee shop for a few hours to get out of my house, or go work outside, something like that. So yeah, hopefully that gives some context. It's probably pretty boring to describe it, but it's for me, it's fun. It's a good working environment.
I think every day you actually do something different.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'd say that there are definitely similarities, but like, the fun thing about software is you're solving hard problems all the time. So like, even though the job you're doing is technically the same, it feels different every day because the problems you're solving are oftentimes different problems. So I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about software is that it's not a boring job. Like, some people think it'd be boring, but actually you're doing something new all the time and you're kind of forced to learn constantly. So I think that being in an industry where it's moving so fast, there's new technologies, tools, and things like that all the time, it kind of forces you to learn. And for me, I enjoy learning. So that's a positive part of this.
When you're solving problems in software, like, do you start from scratch every time you look at a problem? Or do you like borrow knowledge from other problems?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that it depends, but generally, the more I can, well, I would say in general, everything in life, we build upon previous history and experience, right? So like today, I'm not going to just go walk across the street without looking because I know when I was a little kid, if I tried to do that, my mom would say, don't do that. You're going to, you could get run over or something like that. So now as an adult, I learned from that experience. And so even though I'm walking across the street in a new way, I'm building off of past history and experience. So when it comes to problems you're solving, inevitably, even if we start from scratch with something new, we're like in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking, okay, this is how I would solve this problem in the past, or maybe I have done a similar thing. Maybe it was a different framework or a different tool, something like that. But I think that we do build off those experiences, even if we do start from new. But typically, programmers are pretty lazy. So if we can copy or adapt something that's already been built, we can be faster usually. So that's oftentimes the approach we sometimes take. So
it kind of builds up upon each other.
Definitely, yeah. And I think it's really a good. I think that's how we do life in general, really, to be honest. But yeah, it definitely builds upon it. So,
is there anything else interesting you want to talk about?
Interesting. Oh man, that's an open-ended question. One of the things I do think that I would say I'm really passionate about this industry. There's so many amazing people, and it's really not only fun work, but I think it's work that is meaningful. That if you like challenges and solving hard problems, it's something that you will enjoy. And so I always try to encourage people to get into this industry. And so one of the things that I have done is done mentoring over the years. And I think that something I'm passionate about because it was me. I'm a self-taught engineer. I didn't go to school or anything like that. And so for me, like, it took a really long time to develop the skills needed where I can do a job that I have today effectively and well. But I think that, the more we can give back and help teach other people, I think that is really important in our industry and something that, I was just recently talking with someone actually from Brazil that a friend of mine that I met back in 2021, and he was starting to get into programming, but he was kind of like discouraged and didn't want to, kind of was going back and forth. Maybe I don't want to do it. And I encouraged him. I said, let me meet with you. Let me start to just meet with you. We're going to start building something. And we ended up doing that. And I talked to him about 2-3 months ago. And he was like, you'll never believe, like, I got a job. He's from Brazil, and he's like, I just moved to America, and I'm working for a company remotely, and he's like, program has really changed his life, and he has a good job, and he just got married. And so I think that one of the things that I love about this industry is that you can work anywhere in the world if you work for a remote company, and it's not only fun work, but it's meaningful. You can help solve interesting problems that you maybe a problem that you maybe find more valuable or interesting than or important than someone else. So I think that the message is giving back and teaching people maybe that are newer in the industry.
Meaningful work. Like, are you helping other programmers or even people outside the industry?
Both, yeah. So like, I think that helping people in the industry is important because like, not that I have all the answers or I'm the smartest person, but like, I have maybe experience that we all have experiences that someone else doesn't have. So, if I can share my experience and help maybe someone learn something that they don't know, or at least give a different perspective than what they maybe have thought of, I think that that's important. But also people that aren't in the industry, someone that's like, I've always enjoyed computers or technology or building things, but I don't know how to get started. So I love thinking that getting someone not in the industry into the industry is really meaningful as well. So
when we talk about helping people outside the industry,
Yeah.
we all have smartphones and they're kind of run by computer technology.
yeah.
So could you say we could help people outside the industry, even like through programming, maybe like they use technology but don't really want to be programmers?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, especially with AI, is that like you could in theory build some things without a lot of knowledge of programming. So I think that you definitely could with phones. I mean, you can connect with anyone really in the world with a smartphone, which is really cool. So I think that's the cool thing of technology is it good and bad. We're overly connected. Like we can be connected with anyone in the world, which is really cool. And because of that, we can then share our experiences and knowledge across. So someone who has a smartphone, maybe they don't want to code, but maybe they have an idea that I could code. So maybe together we could build something really cool or something that's meaningful to both of us or something like that. So I think that's a definitely interesting perspective. So.
Like, how do you give mentorship? Because I know you're also giving a talk here. Is
Yes.
that a form of mentorship?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I haven't really thought of it that way, but I think it is. I think that I guess I don't look at myself as like as the smartest one here or anything like that, but I do feel like I can share the experiences that I have. So giving a talk is basically saying, hey, I've tried to solve this hard problem, and this is the lessons I've learned through that experience. So for me, I do think it probably is a form of mentorship. I think that what I found is when you're trying to mentor someone who's wants to get into industry or maybe in the industry, but maybe like earlier in their career, building something like actually building something tangible where they feel like they're building, like they're making progress towards something is really helpful tool along the way, as well as even just giving a talk like this, I think is good because again, I'm going to show examples of some lessons I've learned, as well as some of the findings, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think that I haven't thought about it that way, but I think that definitely this is a form of mentoring, probably.
Yeah. I think we've had a really good chat today.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a lot of fun, and it's been great to be here at ViewConf, and I'm really excited for the rest of the conference, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.